Survivor Series 2024 is in the books. We're going to do a rundown of all that, as well as any other news that's out there. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I am your host, coming from Bob. Joined as always by my good friend Hollywood Frank.
HW in the house.
Thank God. You can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, talking about all the news in wrestling. You also follow us on social media, across below and in the description as well. And so Survivor Series is come and gone. Pretty much went exactly the way we thought it was going to. I can't remember exactly what I said. I think I actually came out 5-0. Oh, you were what?
I was 3-2.
And I was
4-1.
Yeah. Okay.
You wanted Nakamura to win, but you went with LA Knight.
LA Knight. Yeah, that's what I figured. I couldn't remember. But yeah, it was an interesting night. There's some good, some bad. It is what it is. Some interesting stuff happened afterwards on Raw. We are moving towards, we're 4 weeks away from WWE's debut on Netflix, I believe. And a lot of people think things are going to change there. So we'll get a look into that. But yeah, it was an interesting show. It was I actually had to go back and rewatch a couple things, especially the women's War Games. And I have some thoughts about the Survivor Series. Me and Frank were talking about it earlier today when we were at lunch. But yeah, so we'll get into that here in a minute. Real quick, and just let people slowly pile in here. But what do you think of the show overall? So I thought it was one of the weaker pay-per-views that they've had. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't bad, but it would have to be a C. I can't go any higher than that.
I wouldn't say it was. I'd say it was a high C. I don't think it was quite that bad. I do think that there was some missed opportunities though. But all right, real quick here, let's go ahead and check in with everybody. Like I said, sorry about starting up late, guys. We had some tech issues. Big Daddy, Guardian Chaos is here. He says, hey yo, Big Daddy. Appreciate you being here, man.
Hey yo.
Check out Big Daddy's channel, Guardian of Chaos, original learning tree, baby. Chris Jericho can suck the pipe on that BS. Big Daddy was first.
No, Matasuda was first.
Matasuda. Well, today he was, yeah. Matasuda. What's up, people? What's up, Matasuda? Be careful going home, brother.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? So I'm single leg kick. Hail the Wrestling Council. Hail leg kick. How you doing, brother? And everybody else that's going to slowly filter in here. What do you guys think? So Montecito kind of agrees with this. This is a very mediocre pay-per-view. Yeah, we have some thoughts on it too. Me and Frank were talking about it, like I said, at lunch. I don't think it was a bad show. I do think it was very by the numbers. There were a few things that I was, kind of disappointed in. Some things I thought I liked, some things I didn't. Let's see here, leg kick. I see. Still working, busy season at work. Yeah, dude. Hey, be careful, man. Holiday times is a rough time. So But yeah, so we'll get into it real quick here. Before we do that, though, we're gonna go ahead and get into our favorite segment, a little something we like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is an even numbered show. Is at 150. I forgot. This is our 150th stream.
150 with these two guys.
150, man. So my good, the men's War Games was actually pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. You know, I'm gonna try and stick to Survivor Series. Overall match, I know, like I said, you know, every guy that's involved in this is actually a pretty good is a good talent. So, it was a little predictable. And like I said, me and Frank, we do have some thoughts on how the show went. But overall, I thought it was effective. I thought it did move some story along, and actually Raw the next day, Raw yesterday, further some storyline stuff along even more. So I thought the men's War Games was decent, was pretty good. The bad, Nia Jax, and the women's War Games overall was pretty god awful. It was pretty bad. Nia Jax especially, like just when I think she's kind of turning a corner and she's starting to, you know, I'm always going to be very critical of Nia Jax. She's an injury machine. But the last few months, you know, since she came back, you know, when The Rock basically got her job back, she's been okay. You know, there were a few things here and there, like that Samoan drop that she did, wasn't good. Yeah, appreciate it, Big Daddy. Yeah, onward and upward, man. We're gonna be trying to do some more. That we know we say this every week and we never do. Trying to make the show better and hopefully you know, build on it. But she was god awful in that match, man. She was bad. She was really bad. Those chair shots were some of the worst that I've ever seen. And and she wasn't the only one, man. Like even EO, there were so many missed spots and just it was clear where X was supposed to happen and Y happened instead. It was bad. It was bad. The ugly, of course, Bronson Reed being injured. He has at least one, I believe, broken ankle, possibly two. It's unfortunate because, you know, the guy's finally getting the push that he deserves. And this is going to put a halt in it. Hopefully, you know, he's not going to be out for too long. And when he does come back, they will continue to give him this push. I think Triple H will. I don't think he's going to kick him to the curb. But it's just unfortunate. You know, you don't want to see someone get injured. Jey Uso also had a minor injury. I believe he broke a toe.
Yeah, is
what they said. And Jacob Fatu, man, everybody thought he was hurt, but it turns out he just really, he's like Dana Bryan, man. Bryan Danielson, he freaking sells like crazy. So thank God for that. But yeah, that's my GBU. What you got, Frank?
All right, where do we start? Where do we start? My good is I'm actually digging the heel turn for New Day.
Was not what I was expecting, but I'm with you, man. I think it was a good move.
If that's where they're going with those guys, refresh them. I'm okay with it. You know, when they first came out, they were heels. And then with the New Day, turned them face, got themselves over, and, you know, spice it back up. Go back to heel route. and
Yep.
Kofi and Xavier. Hopefully, this will be a shot in the arm to get them going, give them another title run. They deserve it, and we'll see where it goes. I'm sure Big E and all this stuff will be playing into it. With the fact that what's his name got booted off when they started the return of New Day. I can't remember his name. The other big wrestler that got kicked out of WWE.
Shit. I can't remember his name now. My brain just took a crap.
But yeah, so I'd like to see where this goes, and hopefully it materializes in something. The bad
Odyssey Jones.
I said Odyssey Jones. The bad, I had to agree a little bit with GOC, Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. I would have liked to have seen just a clean finish to the Damian Priest match. It's rehashing SummerSlam with Damian Priest being involved. Just let the guys wrestle. If you're going to turn Gunther face, which is what they're talking about, fine. But you don't need you don't need Finn Balor out there again. You really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just it's Gunther can't win without outside interference.
Ugh.
You know, we had that whole thing with Roman Reigns can't win when he was champion without outside interference from the bloodline, from this person, from that person. It doesn't do your champion any good when you're constantly putting out stuff like that into it to keep them as champion. Let it go by itself.
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts on that, but just let the guys go. And then my ugly is just too much high risk stuff on the pay-per-view on Sunday. You had
some of
you had Io Sky with the garbage can.
I don't like
diving
that
off the top of the cage. Tiffy Time diving off the other side.
Yeah.
You know, they had to get the ladies to stand there and wait, stand there in a group, waiting for the timing for them to jump off the top of the cage. And then you have to go and have the men do the same thing, come off the top of the cage. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then 2 tables in each, the men's and the women's. Did any face go through a table? No.
Yeah.
Heels went through all 4 tables. All 4. Whether it was alone like Bronson Reed or the faces put them through the table. There's just spots in both matches that to me just was like, no. You saw it once in the women's match. You had to see the exact same thing again in the men's match. Just to me, it just incorporate different things to it. And honestly, Survivor Series to me doesn't feel like it's one of the big 4 anymore.
No. And like you and me, we were talking about this at lunch. I miss the old format. I miss when the whole idea behind Survivor Series was team versus team for all the matches. You know, if you want to have like one or 2 title matches in there or whatever, fine, whatever. But that's what was cool about Survivor Series. It was team versus team, you know, and then you had, one when a member of the team was eliminated, now you're fighting from behind. That's what was cool about it. War Games is an NXT thing, and I think it should have stayed in NXT. I just don't like the format. I don't like it. Just call the pay-per-view War Games then, because if that's what you're going to do, then why is it called Survivor Series? And I agree with you. It doesn't feel like one of the big 4 anymore.
Teams of 5 strive to survive. This is what originally it
Right.
was.
Yeah. And that's the whole idea, man. Mrs. Bitch said, question about how physically strong was Corporate Kane. Most wrestlers in the backstage have said he bench pressed Big Show with relative ease. Kane in his prime was a really strong dude. He was jacked, man. He had what they call functional strength. Miss Bitch, appreciate you being here, by the way. ECW was goated. I love old school ECW, man. I miss Johnny's random quips. Johnny, yeah, he couldn't join us today. He's got stuff going on, obviously. But
just if you're gonna do Survivor Series, make there be some stipulation for the winning team.
Yeah.
If you want to do something to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you want to change it up, the formula where the winning team gets into the Royal Rumble, they're guaranteed later numbers or something, anything. I don't know, something like that. I don't like the War Games format for Survivor Series. I just don't like it. Because here's the thing about War Games. War Games is supposed to be brutal as hell. That's the whole idea behind it. That's why it's called War Games. Just like Hell in a Cell got watered down, over the last decade or so. And then thank God Punk came back and they actually turned Hell in a Cell back into what it should be. Hell in a Cell is like the most brutal match there is. That's the way it's supposed to be. War Games is kind of in the same vein. That's another thing too. Nobody got color. Nobody got color in this match. So what are we doing?
Especially the fact, sorry, let me cut you off. Especially with the fact you had Punk hitting guys with that toolbox.
The toolbox.
I thought
and then never opened the toolbox.
Yeah, you hear it all jiggling inside. I thought he could have accidentally cut somebody with it the hard way, but no blood.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. 100%, Big Dave. That's exactly what I think. Survivor Series has lost all concept of history and nostalgia. It's just not the same. It's not. And that was the thing about the Big Four for WWE. Every one of the Big Four was different. They all had a different format to them. WrestleMania was like Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble, right? WrestleMania is the showcase of the Immortals, right? It's the big show. SummerSlam is that show that's in the middle of the year that is kind of like the reset building towards the next year. And then Survivor Series was, like you said, teams of 5 strive to survive. So that's exactly what that's why they were considered the Big 5, because they were all different from each other. This just felt like a regular pay-per-view. So Miss Bitch says Punk is a crazy man. He's unpredictable. If I remember, he was also one of the OGs of ECW. I can't remember. Was he one of the OGs in ECW? I watched Punk when he was part of Ring of Honor. WCW NWA War Games was the absolute best. NXT War Games was a joke, not original. No weapons need to be in War Games. The cage is the weapon, and then no blood. Yeah, when I was okay with the NXT version of War Games, because that's kind of what NXT was. NXT was kind of like that's almost all the pay-per-views in NXT were callbacks to old WCW NWA stuff. Were they as good? No. I mean, the original War Games in friggin' WCW was friggin' nuts. Man, I mean, and again, War Games is supposed to be a crazy friggin' match.
Yep.
And again, the weapons thing. That's another thing I don't agree with. I don't want the weapons in there. Just like you said, the cage is the weapon. That's the way it was supposed to be. Mattacito agrees that I agree with Chaos. Yeah, I agree with him too. But the main roster, WWE main roster version of War Games is even more watered down than the NXT one was. So yeah, and it just like you said, it just feels like another pay-per-view, another monthly pay-per-vw.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel like one of the big four anymore.
And that's why I give it a hard C and nothing better, because it's lost its luster of being the big pay-per-view it used to be.
Miss Mints, is it true Sid Vicious was one of the most feared wrestlers? I don't know if he was one of the most feared wrestlers.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He looked like a friggin' monster. Definitely on that. I mean, that's that fight between him and Arn Anderson, that scissors fight in the at the hotel. That's like a legendary thing. I don't know. Like when I think of the most feared wrestlers, I think of guys like friggin' Haku. Freaking Haku who got arrested, literally snapped the handcuffs and then like walked back into the bar when the cops tried to arrest him. Is like yeah, that dude's freaking bonkers. Harley Race, guys like that, man. That's what I think of when I think of the most feared wrestlers out there, man. There's like a handful of dudes like people are like, I would mess with that dude if you paid me.
Yeah, people said Sid was one of the nicest guys outside the ring ever.
Yeah. Big Daddy said, women's War Games in Hell in a Cell is a joke. Queen of the Ring, okay. Women's tag belts, okay. But why do they have to do everything the men do? Why? Yeah. Yeah, I don't like. I have never seen a women's Hell in a Cell match that I thought was worth a crap. Women's War Games, again, like I said, the NXT version of War Games was definitely watered down. They're doing the same thing, yeah.
The women's tag belts are a kiss of death because you put them on there more times than not. One of the two, if not both, get hurt.
Yeah, and or their career goes to crap. And it comes down to what we were talking about again. Another thing we're talking about at lunch. The reason why the women's tag belts don't mean anything is because there aren't any real women tag teams.
Nope.
Name me a women's tag team that's on the same level as like the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, the Steiner brothers. They don't exist because women's wrestling is almost entirely about singles matches. Any women's tag team is just thrown together. Sorry.
You don't even have a women's tag team at a level of Power and Glory with Roma and Hercules.
I liked Power and Glory. I
love them, but you don't even have a.
No, you don't. Like there's like two of them. There's like two actual women's tag teams that I know of right now. And in three, like Alba Fire and what's her name? The Iconics. The Iconics aren't in friggin' WWE. The Iconics was one of them. That tag team with with Alba Fire and what's her name? I can't remember. My brain's taking a crap.
Isla Dawn?
Isla Dawn, yeah. And then that when they were part of that faction with Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
And then the Renegade Twins. That's it. That's really the only real women's tag teams. They don't do tag team wrestling with women like they do with men, which is something like I said, like if a company actually started developing like women as tag teams, because you got to connect your friggin' careers at the hip. There's no women's tag teams on the level of FTR.
Valacito's calling you out.
No, it's cool, man. Yeah. Even outside of WWE,
right?
There's three.
Yeah.
They don't develop the women's tag division. That's why it sucks. But I'm saying I'm not against that as much as Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I agree. Hell in a Cell, and I don't like Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view. Hell in a Cell, we talked about that as well. Hell in a Cell is a match, and it's a match that you don't do. You maybe do one a year, if that. Hell in a Cell should be the most brutal, disgusting, and just evil match that there is.
And the women's tag team belts are now going to be put on the back burner.
Yep.
Because you have an Intercontinental Women's title and a U.S. Women's title.
Too many belts.
So you have 4 singles titles for the women and the tag titles, which you've got a tournament for the Intercontinental, you got a tournament for the U.S. title, and you've gonna have to strip the titles off of Cargill and Belair because Cargill might be out another year. So you're gonna have to have another tournament to crown, I guess, the new tag team champions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
bring back Braun panty matches, make women's wrestling worth it again.
Maybe when they go to Netflix, they can do.
Maybe I don't know,
like
man.
That. Who knows? But
in the 70s and 80s, there were all women tag teams. Yeah, I remember. I vaguely remember that. Remember that. I think was it Rockin' Robin was in. Who was she in a tag team with? I can't remember. Way too many singles titles in yeah, dude, like way too many. Like and at least people think that it's because we're talking about the women. There's too many singles titles in men's wrestling too.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There should, in my personal opinion, and I know that Hunter wanted to do this, but he got overridden by the board. He wanted to go back to one world championship. He wanted to go back to one mid-card title, one set of tag team belts. That's it. And then I think the cruiserweight belt, and that was it. He wanted to go back to the way it used to be. And I personally think that was the right thing to do. You know, if you want to have an individual belt on each show, world title on Raw's going to become their number one show now that it's going to Netflix. Your world title is on Raw, your Intercontinental title is on SmackDown. Okay? Because remember, when Gunther had the IC belt, I don't give a crap. I mean, I give Seth all the credit in the world. He tried to make that world title belt, that new world title belt, mean something. The Intercontinental belt was the number 2 belt in the company when Gunther had it. He elevated that belt to number 2, and that's the way it should be. I feel the same way about there's too many belts, too many. It's just spread out too far. They don't mean what they used to mean. It used to be when they put that belt on you, that meant that they were saying, you're the face of the company. We believe in you to carry us into the immediate future. Yep. Now show us what you got. And that's what those belts meant. Now there's so many of them, you can't even keep track of them. And like the women's roster in WWE has been reduced so much. Like you've got what, 9 people on SmackDown? Is it Raw or which one? I actually think it's Raw. Raw has only has 9 women in its roster. What do you need 2 belts for? You know, I mean, SmackDown's a little bit better. I think there's 12. But even then, you've got 20 people. 20 people, and you've got now 5 belts between 20 people.
6.
What do you mean? No, well, the tag team belts I'm counting as 1. So you've got 2 world championships, you got 2 mid-card belts, and you got your tag belts between 20 people. Are you kidding me? That means every other person is going to have a belt. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it dilutes what they mean. You know, I mean, I get, when you have a show, you want to have something to show on it, but come on, it's getting stupid. I mean, AEW is the same way. Too many damn belts. And they're talking about making more of them. It's friggin' dumb. But that's our GBU. Did you do your ugly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, that's our GBU. Let's go ahead and get into the show. All right. Where's it at here? Survivor Series results.
Women's War Games was first.
Ugh. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that drizzling shit. So, Women's War Games. Next time. Rhea Ripley, her team of Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley defeated Liv Morgan with her team of Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, and Candice LeRae. Yeesh. This was not great, man. There were so many miscues in this match. Like right from the jump, there were miscues. Candice LeRae, like the things that I remember, obviously Nia's chair shots. Someone actually said that Nia's chair shots were as bad as Hogan's chair shots back in the day, that's pretty bad. They were bad. They weren't great. It really felt like I said, it really felt like she was just phoning this in.
Yeah.
Like, was she sick or something? What was going on? Like she was trundling around the match. Like I said, there were all these missed spots, and she wasn't the only one. Candice LeRae did that moonsault onto Bayley, and she completely overshot her and barely made any contact at all. Naomi went for a drop kick. Nia's holding the chair out like this, so the chair's completely it's like at arm's length away from her. So that means that the chair is hitting air. You know, I don't know if she was supposed to like let go of it as she hit it, and then that was supposed to happen or what, but she's literally holding it out in front of her, like at arm's length. And it's like, what the hell is this? You know, freaking Io went down, started to get back up, and then went back down again because she wasn't supposed to get up. And even Corey Graves was like, "Hey, she thought twice about getting up." I'm like, it was just not good. No. It was not good at all.
Not at all.
And like the only winner in that match was Rhea Ripley. Everybody else looked terrible. And then once again, no cash in for Tiffany Stratton. Would have been a great time to set up a storyline with her either trying to cash in on like have both the champs down. She's sitting there with the freaking contract in her hand, and then have her try to go for Liv. And then, like you said, have Raquel just freaking lay her out. Yeah. And that creates dissension between the heels, which leads to them losing the match.
Yeah, set up something like that. Storyline. Set up a storyline.
Yeah. Big Day said Judy Martin and Leilani Kai, the Jumping Bomb Angels, Crush Gals. Oh, there were actually Japan had a lot of women's tag teams, and the Beautiful People. Yeah, there you go. That's the name of the one from Mandy Rose's faction.
No.
Wasn't it?
The Beautiful People was in TNA.
You're right. Yeah,
Angelina Love.
And
I can't remember.
Lacey Von Erich, right?
Yeah, she was part of it, and then I can't remember the other two ladies that were in there.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways,
God, what was the name of that faction that Mandy Rose was running? I don't remember now. But yeah, it was just there were so many miscues in this match, and they were all over the place. And they didn't use this match to set anything up, you know, like they did with the men's War Games. They didn't do any setup for this.
Nope.
And yeah, it wasn't a strong way to start out the show. So like I gave that match like 1 star. Like I like it was just the drizzling crap.
Yeah, just and just the whole thing with like I mentioned before with EO and Tiffy coming off the top rope. I mean, just to get everybody together to
Milling
and
around
all
like
stand
lemmings.
all mill around in the middle of the ring, waiting for her to come off. They're both come off the top rope. It's like, come on.
Yeah. And we talk about that. I know like that's EO's thing. She's the aerial daredevil. I don't like that spot. I don't like that. That spot to me is like that spot that Darby Allin did where he was in the body bag and Brian Cage threw him down the stairs. That is so dangerous, man. Like she's jumping, she can't see anything. And it's not worth. I hate that they've turned that into her move. That she's the queen of war games, and she does this spot where she takes the guard. But first of all, it takes forever to do. Secondly, it's incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
It's incredibly dangerous. Like one person misses their cue on that thing, and she's screwed. So, and like you said, they keep doing it over and over and over again. So it's like, what are you doing? You know, this is unnecessary, and it's an unnecessary risk. And I also think that if somebody comes off the top of that cage, it should be like a holy shit moment. You know? And so that means it should only happen like every once in a while. If you're doing it all the time, it loses its impact. It's just like Moxley with his freaking bleeding. Moxley getting color every other match is like, what are you doing? You're killing the momentum of it. Now this is, I give it a half star because there was no serious injuries. Other than that, it's very forgettable. Yeah, it was completely forgettable. It was basically the scariest things were the botches. You know, so it was just a really weak way to start the show off. Next up was the U.S. title. Or was it Intercontinental?
U.S., isn't it?
It was U.S., yeah. U.S. Championship, LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. So this match, in my opinion, was zero heat. They did what? 3 weeks? They tried to build this thing in 3 weeks. LA Knight's run as the U.S. champion, the guy's over, but his run as U.S. champion has just been flat.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's been very flat. Nakamura has had so many starts and stops. Like they start to push him a little bit, then he dies. They start to push him a little bit, and then he dies. And this is the same thing that they did to him when he challenged Seth Rollins. Remember when he challenged Seth Rollins last year?
Yep.
And they were trying to build him up. That at least they built it up over time. You know? This, they tried to do it in 3 weeks. It comes out with a new character, like a new character, new music, darker character. Okay, I'm fine with all of that. You got to have more time to build this up. Because this match had no heat. Zero. None. I like that Nakamura's getting a push. I've always liked Shinsuke Nakamura. I felt like they dropped the ball on him years ago when he came into WWE and he was hot as hell. This man, and I understand taking the belt off of LA Knight because, like I said, it's his run as hot as he is. They should have pulled the trigger on him a year ago.
Yeah.
When he was nuclear. His booking has not been great. His run has been inconsequential. He hasn't elevated that belt at all. So we'll see where they do this going forward. I I'd like to see Nakamura have more of an impact, but if this match is indicative of where they're going, man, it's just going to be. It's like why even trying to do Nakamura at this point? But it was an okay match. It's just kind of weak. And again, it was indicative of how this pay-per-view felt. It just felt like it was another average pay-per-view, just spinning their wheels, just to get from point A to point B. I gave this match like two stars, maybe 2.5, because I like Nakamura. Like I said, I like the character. I like the way they're doing the character. I just don't think they've had enough time to build it. What'd you think?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, it felt super rushed. And in fact, this whole pay-per-view felt rushed. Like any of the setup that they had for it just felt very rushed. Intercontinental Championship, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. I like who they chose to win. Braun, I think, they need to continue elevating him. What do you think about the finish?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, you knew Braun Breaker wasn't going to lose the title.
Right.
You had mentioned it last week that you saw it being more of Sheamus versus Braun, and Ludwig taking a secondary role in the match, which I had no problem with. I liked him. I liked the match overall, going around, him doing his 10 beats to the Bowery on those guys, and it going up in the stands and things like that. I had no problem with it. I thought it was definitely a lot better than the prior two matches.
Yeah.
So it was a nice.
It was one of the better
matches on the card.
It was one of the two best matches on the card. Yeah. I just think that Kaiser might have been able to eat the loss better than Sheamus could. Also, why was it a 3-way? Should have been just Braun versus. I think it would have been better if it was just Braun versus Sheamus. But I think they got the win right. I love Braun Breaker. I think the guy's a future star. And give him his name back. For God's sake, let's enough,
Yeah. I mean, they gave Pete Dunne back to Butch. Let's give something Steiner to Braun.
Piper Niven back to Piper Niven's the Dewdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's, give him his friggin' name. World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus Damian Priest. This would have been the best match on the entire freaking show if not for the finish.
Yeah.
That finish was just a kick in the balls, man. It's so unnecessary. So freaking unnecessary. And I just why are we still doing Finn versus Priest? We already did this. It's done. It's over with. It's time to move on. What are we doing?
Do they not want Damian Priest to take a clean loss, I mean?
It's Gunther, though. He's your champion.
He is.
Okay. Not only that, but the idea that they're trying to build him into a friggin' babyface, which I think is a terrible idea. Him as a dominant heel. When was the last? I mean, next to Roman, we haven't had a dominant heel like that. a dominant heel who, yeah, sometimes there's interference a little bit, but overall, the reason why he wins is because he's brutal as hell. He's big, he's mean, and he's like I said, he's a throwback in the best way possible. I hate that they're trying to turn him into a face. I hate it. It doesn't work for me. That being said, they put on a hell of a match. And that finish just completely deflated this match. Completely deflated it, in my opinion. He should have defeated Gunther, should have defeated Priest in the middle of the ring. And if you, like I said, if you want him to be a face, have him shake hands at the end and be like, you know what? He was the better man this night. Time to move on, etc., what have you. Finn and Priest going at it again, I have no interest in that.
Yeah. And Priest selling his arm injury throughout the match, brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
This match
could have been a match of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the finish.
Great match. Terrible finish. Terrible. Like, just channeling my inner Charles Barkley here. Terrible finish.
And I know Big Daddy was the same way. He was not happy with the finish of that match.
Nope. And honestly, everybody that every show that I've listened to, every report that I've read, that match in particular, they point to the finish and said this was not it. This was not it. And it does nothing to elevate either one of them. It doesn't elevate Gunther because it makes it look like he can't win without interference. It doesn't elevate Priest because Priest and Balor, because we've seen it already. I don't want to see this match again. Why aren't they moving on to something else? Why don't we get something like Priest versus McIntyre? That'd be a great feud.
No, we got McIntyre versus Sami Zayn.
Or McIntyre versus Gunther? Holy crap, dude, sign me up. No, we're going to get Priest versus Finn again. I was so disappointed in this was probably the best in-ring action with the worst friggin' finish that just made me want to friggin' puke. I hated this with a passion. And it really hurts Gunther. I really feel like it hurts Gunther, man. Outside of that finish, it would have been a solid match, man.
Yeah, I got to fix. That's my water softener machine over there. Just had to start up now. We had Chili's.
Oh, lunch. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked what we had for lunch.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
Okay.
Chili's.
Yeah, we went to Chili's. I had a hamburger. I'm basic.
Yeah, the Mexican street corner was really good.
That was pretty good. That was all right. And then finally, to close out the night, we had the new Bloodline, or as I call it, Bloodline 2.0 versus the OG Bloodline. And the order of entry for the competitors was Bronson Reed, Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu, Sami Zayn, Tongaloa, Punk, Solo Sikoa, Reigns. And this was a decent match. I liked the drama between Punk and Roman. And here's the thing. In my personal opinion, it should have just been 4-on-4. Should have just been 4-on-4. OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline. Okay. I like that Bronson Reed, like I said, I love Bronson Reed. I love he's getting a push. Okay. I think he was a big player in this match. I think Jacob Fatu was the friggin' star of this match. Jacob Fatu was a beast. And all the people that are upset about him no selling and all that crap. Look, that crap happens all the time in AEW. I don't want to hear it. Okay. I think it happens too often in AEW. And so, but when it happens, something like this happens in WWE, when it's done sparingly like this, I think it has a much bigger impact. And I have no problem with Jacob Fatu coming out as the friggin' monster in this match.
They may not like this no selling, but he sold that move like you legitimately thought he was hurt near the end of the match.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, man,
and he wasn't. I mean, he sold that, and nobody thought it was a sell. They thought he actually got hurt.
Dude, I'm a fan of the Samoan Werewolf, and I always will be, dude. He's, in my personal opinion, of everybody in that family, he's the most talented. I really do. I really believe that. And I think that, pushing that guy to the friggin' moon is what they should be doing. The next challenger for Roman should be Jacob, in my personal opinion. That's a hell of a match, man. That's a match and a half. I want to see him versus Cody. And he was and I really do think that he was the star of that match. I agree with you. Yeah. Dude, Jacob Fatu is freaking awesome. Dude, if you guys want to see some badass matches with him, man, go check out his matches in MLW. Dude was a beast. He's been a beast for a long time. Frank and I were talking about the way that this should have gone down is the heels should have been in lockstep with each other, which they pretty much were. But every table spot that happened in this match, and again, if I had my way, there wouldn't be weapons in this. It would just be 5 guys in 5v5, or it would have been 4v4. 5v5 in the ring, in the cage. The cage is the weapon, like Big Daddy said, old school war game style. That's the way I would have done it. That being said, I think you have to have the faces chasing the heels. The miscommunication between the faces, the problems that they were having with each other. The best way to play up on that was when they have those table spots or whatnot, they're the ones that should have been going through the tables. Except for the last one. The last one should have been them all finally getting on the same page and possing up and getting the win over the heels. That's the way it should have happened. But like you said, every single one of those guys, every single table, a friggin' face went through it. Heel went through it. I'm sorry. A heel went through it. That's the exact opposite of what they should have done. And it got to the point where it was noticeable. It was like, are the faces going to go through one of these things? Big Day said, I'm a Tama Tonga fan as well. Like his energy and attitude, he's a solid in-ring. Dude, Tama Tonga gets so much hate. I love the GOD, man. Gorillas of Destiny, man. I love those guys. I wish they still had their old name from New Japan. I so desperately wanted them to have a match series against FTR, and they teased it. It just never happened. And there goes my friggin' alarm. Unfortunately, we never got it. Things happen. And yeah, he's a little cartoony, but like you said, the guy brings really great energy. He's fun to watch. He's fun, and more wrestlers should be like that. More wrestlers should be fun. I love Tama Tonga, Tongaloa. Love those guys. Me personally, I'm their fifth man. I would have had Hikuleo show up because I know he's going to be debuting in NXT soon. I love Bronson Reed. Like I said, my personal feelings on it, and Punk does fit better storyline wise than Seth does, and we saw some really great stuff happen with Seth on Raw the next show. So, and we know that the setup is going to be Punk versus Seth. They've been teasing that for a while. But things that, like I said, things that I didn't like. Didn't like the fact that every table spot, one of the faces went through it. I did not like Bronson Reed coming off the top of that cage. Okay, look, you want to do a cage, top of the cage spot. Let it be someone like Jimmy or Jay. Zilla, dude, Zilla's good, man. Zilla Fatu's good, and you're right. He might. He's super young too, man.
You have the biggest guy coming off the top of the cage. Like, he's not a high flyer like that.
Dude, I have the same issue with Bronson Reed coming off the top of that cage as I have with a 50-year-old Adam Copeland coming off the top of that cage when he hurt himself. Okay? You got no business being up there, man. You're not built for it. All right? I understand on big pay-per-views, and I understand, like, this is his moment. This is Bronson Reed's chance to really shine. The last 6-7 months has really been Bronson Reed's chance to shine. And I understand that he wants to make an impact, no pun intended, and he wants to cement himself as a top guy. I get it. But exactly, Big Daddy, you're not built for that. You just are. You're not built for this stuff, man. You're a big man wrestler. You do power moves. You don't jump off the top of cages. All right. Yeah, Rob Van Dam, you can jump off the top of the cage. Okay. Jay Uso, you can jump off the top of the cage. If you weigh more than 275 pounds, you ain't got no business being up there. You got no business being there. You definitely got no business being up there if you're 300 plus. Okay. And Bronson Reed is what is he topping out at? I think he tops out at like 330, 340 pounds. Dude, keep your ass on the ground. Okay? You're gonna end up getting killed. Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, guys that are in their 50s do not need to be coming off the top of friggin' cages. Guys that are 300 plus pounds do not need to be doing high flying flippy shit. All right. Exactly, dude. Sid came off the second turnbuckle. Dude, I watched that happen live. That was one of the worst injuries I've ever seen, man. His leg folded like an accordion. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad. Okay. And as soon as Bronson started climbing up there, I was like, oh God, please don't let this guy get hurt. Please don't let this guy get hurt. Sure enough, it's possible he broke both his ankles.
I was reading an article. He just broke his right one. They thought it was both. But
I know it was one, but they said he was having trouble. I guarantee you, he may not have broken the other one, but he definitely hurt it. Yeah. Yeah, dude. And for a big man, when you break a friggin' ankle or something or a leg like that, man, boy, it takes a long time to come back from that. It takes a long time to come back from that. Brock Lesnar back in WWF was scary. He honestly looked like a generic bully. Dude, like I said, that match, like Bronson had no more business being up on top of that cage than Brock had trying to do a friggin' moonsault. Okay? Brock's lucky he ain't got no neck. All right? Anybody else probably would have broke their neck doing what he did. Oh God, dude. Yeah. Not good, man. And because this thing, all it takes is for you to land just slightly wrong. And like I said, you can jump 5 feet and that happened. You jump off the top of the cage, you're what? That cage is what, 8 feet up? 8 or 9, like depending on which cage it is, dude. Oh my God. Oh, I guarantee they'll friggin' lose their crap. They don't care about those allegations. So, and I guarantee you he'll probably come back. Lesnar will be back at some point. But yeah, as soon as Bronson restarted going up, I was just like, oh God, this is not going to be good. And my worst fears were realized. Fortunately, all the other injuries were minor. Like I said, Jim Uso, I think, broke a toe. And that was it. So that broken toe is bad enough, dude. I broke my freaking toe and it took 8 weeks to heal. So, but you can, at least you can work around it a little bit. Overall, I say the match was, I give it 2.5, 2.5, 3 stars at best. I think just for Jacob Fatu's performance in it, man, I think Jacob Fatu was fantastic. That match, I really think made him. Call him a judge, dude. I'm just glad it wasn't worse than that, man. Because he comes down the wrong way. We could have been calling a body bag, dude. Like that. Like I legit compared that move, him coming off the cage like that, to when Darby Allin let them stuff him in a freaking body bag and throw him down a flight of concrete stairs. That was one of the dumbest things that. I understand Darby's whole thing is he's a daredevil. I get it. That was stupid.
Yeah.
And if I was Brian Cage and he told me to do that, I'd been like, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. I'll throw you out of the bag with your eyes wide open. I'll do that because at least you could see when you're going to hit. You're going to land. Darby, he chucked him down those stairs like a lawn dart. He could have landed on his freaking head. It was just like I said, sometimes you got to protect these guys from themselves.
Yeah, Punk wasn't busy in the ring. Like he spent a lot of time laying down in the ring, I think.
Yeah.
Waiting
And you know what? I didn't have a problem with his performance. I do think that of everybody, he was probably the least busy in the match. I really think that Punk being there was more just to be the fifth man and to do character work, which at his age, I don't have a problem. I don't really have a problem with that. Would have liked to have seen him put a little bit more into it. Again, this pay-per-view really felt like it was by the numbers. You know, it felt very produced. And overall, look, I would rather Punk be a little less busy than he should be than try to do something crazy and get himself hurt.
What I would have liked to have seen with that spot by Bronson Reed was Punk push Roman off the table and Punk
takes
the tsunami off from Bronson.
That would have been interesting.
He sacrifices himself for Roman, and then it just sets up a storyline with those two guys.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there were different directions they could have taken this whole thing. I think they had an opportunity to build some storylines a little bit differently than maybe they have. I do think that of all the matches, that this one had the best storyline build afterwards. Anybody would have gotten crushed, especially considering that he flattened out so much when he came down like that. Yeah, they may have been scraping Punk off the friggin' mat if that happened. But
there definitely could have been blood at that point.
It could have been bad. Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad, as bad as the injury is, I'm just glad it wasn't worse. I'm glad that all the other injuries were very minor. I'm not a big fan of people taking unnecessary risks to that extent. If you're somebody that's designed for it, like I said, like a Rob Van Dam, Shawn Michaels in his heyday, if you're a guy that does those crazy spots like that and you're designed for it, okay. I don't need to see a 300+ pound guy coming off the top of a cage. You're asking for injury.
And I was happy to see all five versus Solo at the end, and just
Yes.
boom, 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 done.
Now,
1, 2, 3, over.
here's a question, and I put this question to everybody that's watching. Where do you go with the bloodline now? The Solo lost.
He did.
He lost. He's not the tribal chief. He lost. Do you have one final thing with Solo versus Roman? Yeah, dude. I was hoping. I'm hoping. From what I understand, they're saying it's a minor fracture.
Yeah, and that's bad. He just got back.
Yeah, I really hope that's the case, and he doesn't have to be gone for another 5 months. We just got Jay. We got him back. We got Jay back. It's unfortunate. I love Juice Robinson, dude. Juice Robinson is like the best character wrestler in AEW. Why that guy isn't in more stuff, I don't know. Roman has to face Solo. Yeah, see, that's where I think it needs to go. I think it needs to, like, I would build that to do you do it okay? Do you do it day one, or do you do it? Do you have that be the big hook for the first Netflix show, Roman versus Solo, or do you save it for the Rumble?
I think depends on what you're doing, because Netflix is a Raw show and Solo is on SmackDown.
Right. But we know they're going to move people from SmackDown to Raw, because Raw is going to become the number one show again.
Maybe you don't have enough time, I guess, to build up to it, because in a week and a half, you have Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. You got Saturday night's main event. I don't think they have enough. Saturday night's main event is what, in like 2 weeks?
No, it's a week and a half. It's the 14th.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think you have
11
enough time.
days.
I don't think you have enough time to build that. I think you build it for either day one, or you build it for the Rumble. Usos versus Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. Yes. Thank you, God. Yes, please. God versus the Usos. Jacob versus Break. Dude, ooh, that'd be a good one.
That's Jacob versus Breaker is going to be a WrestleMania.
That's a WrestleMania match. Yeah.
WrestleMania match.
Yeah. I would start building that, though. I would definitely start building that. Dude, I would I wouldn't be mad at Jacob versus Gunther. That'd be good too. But yeah, him versus Breaker, I think, is better. I think that's the one you pull the trigger on. Rock comes back for Roman after Reigns beats Solo. Yeah, that's what I think they're gearing towards. That's what I think is next. I think you get Roman versus Solo. Roman gets the Ulafala back, and then The Rock comes out, and he's like, and that's when they reveal that The Rock was the guy behind it the whole time, and we get Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. I think that's the WrestleMania. Is that WrestleMania? I think that's well, it depends, man. Do you think Cody loses the belt to Roman?
No.
You don't think Cody? You don't think he gets the belt back?
They could go different ways. I don't know how they're going to do it because you have and I don't want to see it. I really don't. But you have an X Factor out there for Royal Rumble next year.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I don't want to see him winning the Royal Rumble and winning the title. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see Mr. Five Knuckle Shuffle winning.
I forgot about that. Oh shit, dude, I forgot about. Yeah, because this WrestleMania is this year's gonna be his last year, isn't it?
Yep.
That's what I think Cena needs to do the job to somebody young to like really put them over. Like I would like to see Cena give the rub to like, dude, him versus Jacob would be great. I'd like to see him give the rub to Braun. I don't know that they're going to do that though, especially considering that it's going to be his last match. I think they're going to sting it. I think it's going to be they're going to give him that one last big victory. I don't want them putting the friggin' world title on him though. But I get, ew, dude. That okay? Now you've got me thinking. That could throw a friggin' monkey wrench into everything. Yeah, because by the way, yeah, the Journey and Zilla coming in as a tag team, I think would be great because Journey's only 28, I think. Zilla's 25.
And I love the fact we had Gunther on the Survivor Series. Where's your World Heavyweight Championship?
That's another one of the big problems I have with this.
The title is not even on your supposed to be one of your big four.
Yeah,
and the world title is not featured on that.
that's another thing that made me feel like this just didn't feel like one of the big four anymore. Is it just where's your world champion? Where's the real world champion? Where's the champion with the legacy behind him? Where's this guy? You know? God, dude, now you got me thinking about what's going to happen. God damn it. Cena. Here's the thing. I like Cena. I really do. I like Cena. Even when he was catching crap, I liked Cena. I don't like this now because this completely throws a monkey wrench into everything. Well,
it's gonna be a while.
Penta is
Ray Phoenix isn't anytime soon.
Ray ain't gonna be there until probably around June or July. Yeah, they're tagging like another 4 or 5 months on him at least. There's another dude right there that when they bring him in, dude, that I swear to God, if they put him in with the LWO and that crap, and no, that dude needs to come in and murk somebody, and you just insert him into your upper mid card immediately. I'm hot take. Cody has not been booked well, in my personal opinion. He hasn't been booked bad, but he has not been booked like your top champion.
Now he is supposed to be the main event on Saturday night's main event, him versus Kevin Owens, I believe.
Yeah, dude, they're saying that there's a rumor that they're going to have Kevin Owens beat him. Maybe not at Saturday night's main event, but at like day one or the Rumble. I'm really worried about that. I'm really worried that that's what's going to happen, man. Penta's he's gonna show up. He's gonna be fire for a couple of minutes, and then they're gonna friggin' Humberto Carrillo him, which would be awful.
So they've done to Andrade since he came back.
But they've done to every friggin' Mexican wrestler.
Pushed him when he came back, and now he might as well put Andrade on the side of a milk carton.
Dude, that's what they did. They've done to every Mexican wrestler except for Damien. I mean, except for Dominic. Another reason Dominic is because
of his dad.
Yeah, and the only reason they've done Dominic like that is because he was part of Judgment Day, and they turned him into just the biggest D-bag. I don't know, man. I'd like to see the Lucha Brothers hook up with Damien, but I don't know, man. I'm really worried about that. God damn it, now I'm freaking worried about what they're gonna do.
Got you thinking.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I love the fact that there's so many ways that they could go with this. I do think that in the prime storyline, you end up with Roman versus Solo. He beats Solo. He takes back the Ulafala, and The Rock comes out and makes it look like he's going to congratulate him, and then he just beats him down. And it makes it like you're not the tribal chief. I am. I'm the head of the table. And then we get Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania. Here's the thing, though. We know that one of those matches for night one, the odds are it's going to be Punk versus Rollins as the main event. Because Punk keeps getting robbed of his they're going to give Punk his WrestleMania. Okay? So night 2, so what happens with Cody in there? Oh, that would be dope as hell, man. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, we're going to see. They're going to start building it up. I honestly think that there's a very good chance that Cody does not have the world title when we get to WrestleMania. I think there's a very good chance that happens.
It's possible.
And I think that you're going to end up with Roman versus The Rock for Cody's belt. I really do. I really think that that's where we're going with it. Where that happens, I don't know. But I think that's where they're going. And I also think there's a very good chance that when we get to Seth versus Punk, that they might be fighting for Gunther's belt. I think there's a very good chance that we end up there too. We'll see. But I think they want to put, and to be honest, I wouldn't be mad at Punk getting that belt to help put some pedigree on it and help build it up a little bit. I love Gunther. I don't like the way that they're booking him right now. I don't like him as a tweener. I don't like him as a face. I can see Kaiser costing him his belt. And then somewhere along the way, Punk picks it up. And then we get Seth versus Punk for that belt. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, this is one of the things about WWE that I like right now is there's so many directions that they could go right now. AEW needs to get their shit together, man. They really do. Because right now, WWE is eating their lunch.
Yep.
But, yeah, and like I said, so anyway, guys, we've gone over quite a bit here. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. It'll be interesting to see, man. Like, I'm excited to see how they change when they go to Netflix. Are they going to get a little more hardcore? What's going to happen? We don't know. We're going to find out, though. But appreciate everybody that's being here. Big Daddy, Guardian of Chaos. Guys, make sure you check out Big Daddy's channel. Leg Kick, Maldacito, Miss Bitch. Who else did we have here? Everybody else that was lurking. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody. Yeah. Ludwig is very good. Ludwig, he's a guy that I would like to see, and we're gonna get this eventually. Him versus Gunther. That's gonna be a great match, man. They're both really technically sound.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, boy.
Bye.